Alright, so let's try this again. I had to get the old camera going, and hopefully the audio is working now. I don't know why I always have issues with the live streams. So maybe this will work now. Hopefully. So I had all sorts of issues on the other stream. So I guess I'll start over again. Alright, so new products. We'll make this quick because now it's taking forever. Got the shrimp caves in. I really wanted to get these. They came in and they are what I think is perfect. The quality is great. No issues with packaging or shipping here. So I'm going to get more of these. I forget how many I ordered. I think about 20 or 30. I do have a photo box. That's this black thing right here. Your visible and audio isn't bad. Well, I'll have to work on getting the GoPro working correctly. I have a lot going on with it. I have the GoPro going into like an HDMI adapter into the computer, and then the dog likes to mess with the cables. But my goal is to get the GoPro. I also had it set to 4K, so I think I need to bump that down. That might be an issue with the audio delay. I have a microphone that I normally use, and for some reason it wasn't working, so I had to use the GoPro microphone. Okay, I'm so tired. Keep yawning. I apologize for that. It's a crazy day. I also got the shrimp cubes in, so I think I got those off in the other stream. Maybe I didn't have audio, I don't know, so I'll just go back over it. I have the 5-pack. These are the same outside diameter. They're just a little bit thicker on the actual structure. I'd rather sell the 5-pack because I feel like you get like more bang for your buck. But these are what I'm excited about because I really wanted these in my shrimp tanks. So I just unwrapped this one right before I went live, so I'm going to go unwrap all the other ones and put them in the tanks because I really wanted to use these. So in the other stream I talked about, I got Fluval Stratum. I bought the small bag of it to see like how I like the size of the actual substrate. It comes in, I think, 4, 8, and 16 pounds, somewhere around there. This is the 4-pound bag. It's not a whole lot. If you can, it's kind of hard to show the size. It would be enough to do that nano cube right there, that 4-gallon. Maybe, I guess depending on how thick you went, you might be able to stretch this out into like a 10-gallon. It wouldn't be like a super thick substrate. But if you were doing some crystal shrimp, not Neocaridina but Caridina shrimp, you could put them in the Tupperware containers to use it as the buffer for your water. You're tired? I just got back from a motorcycle trip from North Carolina in this heat. Dude, it's hot. I keep forgetting that you're local, so you know how hot it is. And I work on cars, and we work in a building that has like no AC. There's no windows, and there's one garage door, so it's like a warehouse. So it takes a toll on you. Like by the end of the day, you're pretty tired. But yeah, I just can't stop yawning. It's bedtime, so update on these. I mentioned the tape stuck to the glass fine, but the actual thermometer fell off of its own tape. So I don't know if that was a fluke with the one I grabbed, because I want to test them before I sell them. So I'm going to put a few more of these in the fish room and see if it was just a fluke with the tape or not, because I really like these. I think they're kind of, it's kind of like that elegant look without, looking too out there. So I really like it's. I don't want to say they're invisible, but like you don't notice them as much as like you see like the strips that you like double-sided tape on that's got like the bars. I've never really been a big fan of those. I think these are pretty cool looking. and I wouldn't run them on every tank in my fish room. Uh-oh, the dog's in the cables again. I don't need to run them on every tank, and to be honest, I only need one per like height of the racks. So like the top row, I only need one, so that way I can see what the top temperature is, middle temperature, and lower temperature. Because especially on my flow through system, the tanks are pretty much always the exact same temperature. But on my rack system one, where it's the individual tanks, every tank could be different based on the heat gradient. Because every tank towards the ceiling is going to be hotter than the tanks closer to the floor. So that's where I want them. And then I also want to, put one on this tank, put one on my 75 gallon, and then one on my 30 gallon breeder. I talked about these pads in the other video, in the other stream before I think it crashed. These are polyfiber media pads. This is, I would say, medium to fine. It's not coarse and it's not like super fine. So I want to throw these on my flow through system. And then the one I really wanted were these carbon infused pads, because this is really going to polish the water clarity up for me. This is what I really want on there. So I'm really interested to see how these go. And actually, let me pull up, because I don't think these are going to be that expensive to sell. So I can pull it up. We will see. My internet works. Twisty, what were you doing in North Carolina? Just you doing like the dragon run down there, or vacation? Come on, internet. What was the other stuff? Oh, Nilo CG. Oh, you can't see it now. I'm a wholesaler for Nilo CG, so I have his Thrive. Man, this camera sucks compared to that GoPro now. It looks all like washed out. So I have his Thrive and his Enhance. These are the two liquids that I like the most. He's got the Thrive like S, the Thrive Plus, and I forget the other one. Thrive. I want to say Thrive C, but that might be incorrect. This is liquid carbon, and then this is his all-in-one. It's an all-in-one fertilizer. Got a ton of these. I got 2 cases in. They come with pump tops. It's just not on the bottle because ship them sealed, and then these will get heat shrunk into a vacuum bag, so that way in case they leak on shipping, they don't leak all over the place. But I got 2 cases of those in. If you're interested in buying those, use the YouTube discount code. It's just YouTube on the website. That'll save you 10% off on those. I did get the photo box. I need to get pictures of all the smaller products I got, including the TDS meters that I mentioned in the last live stream. And then, see, now I'm all discombobulated. You ever have those days where nothing seems to go right? Twisty, gave up on the dragon years ago. Me and a buddy go south every summer for a week. We ride in the curviest roads we can find. That sounds good. I used to have a motorcycle. I had a Honda CBR, a sport bike. I sold it a few years ago. If I could buy another bike, I really want to get an Indian. So I guess a little side chat there. I really want an Indian. I'm not like a Harley guy, but I do like those Indians. Water change systems, did all those today. I did rack system 1, 20% change. That's on a drip emitter system. I sell the drip emitters if you guys ever want to get them. I sell them single for $1, or you can get like a 30 pack for, I want to say it's like $14. Maybe it's $15. It might even be less than that. I forget. It's cheaper to get the 30 pack for sure, but if you only got a few tanks, then maybe you just want 4 or 5, then you can just get them for like $1. What are these chats? My internet's not working on the website for some reason. try and log in and see how much those filter pads are. Oh. There we go. Did it work? I think it worked. I got two screens. Like, if you guys ever see me looking back and forth like I'm crazy, it's because I have two computer monitors. I found it's best to have two for, like, shipping. I can have my shipping website on one screen and then my website on the other, so I can pull the orders. I sell a lot through eBay, so I'll have eBay open on one screen. One screen will be all the shipping. Filter pads, possibly. Maybe not. Can I punch in the number? There we go. Yeah, so these things are probably like $8. So like I said, there's two. So you see the size, there's two in each bag. Just trying to see if it said the size. I got a tape measure. Always have a tape measure with me. So they look like they are 10-inch. 10 by 9, and then I don't know if it's two separate ones or if it's just one folded in half. It's probably one folded in half, I had to guess. It's packaged so well I can't see in to see if it's two or not. So yeah, I want to give those a shot. Let me get back into the chat. Haley's here. Hey Haley, how's it going? The gal that's mean to mommy. So, actually, I saw that you got a live plant order in. I didn't get to watch it yet. It's playing, but I haven't got a chance to sit down and watch it yet. Puppy. That puppy. That puppy's been wreaking havoc on my live streams. Because my desktop sits down underneath the desk, and she likes to go back there and yank all the cables out. Alright, so yeah, lots of orders this weekend, so thank you guys. It was a busy day. Did 2 runs to the post office today. One before I went to work and the other on my lunch break because I got some orders in between when I went to work and lunch, so I packaged them and shipped them out. That puppy is adorable. Sometimes she's adorable. Sometimes she's a pain in the butt because she's deaf. So, usually when she gets into something bad, she can't hear me yell at her. So usually it's like I throw a slipper at her, or like I'll grab one of her chew toys or something and like toss it towards her to like get her attention, because she knows this is no. Like, you do this and she knows that's no. And so I got her a shock collar, and you can set to like vibrate or really low shock to where it doesn't hurt them but it gets their attention, to train them to look at you whenever you like buzz them. I used it for like 3 days and then just became a pain in the butt to like always have the remote control on me. So I haven't used it since. So she's usually pretty good, but she does like to get in mischief. And then my other dog is on the couch, probably watching your channel, Haley. Twisty says, I just got a notification Steven's going live in 30 minutes. Dude, I'm telling you, my live streams are all messed up. That's why my goal is to get to 1,000 subs, not for the monetization of the channel, but so I can live stream from my phone. Because it would be so much easier to be able to use my phone, because then I can go out into the fish room and the camera and microphone's right there in front of me, where I don't have all this crazy setup going on, because it's a pain in the butt. I just want to be able to use my phone. It would make things so much easier. I'm on break at work. Like work or like Lucas Brett's work? You probably don't get any breaks at Lucas's house, though. He probably keeps you busy on all that stuff. Got no notification. Well, you probably won't get notifications because it's been a shit show tonight. The other stream, I had no audio, and then I got the audio working, and then it wouldn't sync correctly, so I ended up. Oh, then once it like was working but not synced, then the video locked up. So I just scrapped the GoPro and went back to the webcam. But yeah, after this, I'll check out what your new video was. I'm surprised Jess Shrimp isn't in here. I know when I do the live streams during the day, she's like always in here. And people are sending me photos through Messenger. I don't want to know what that is. Oh, I didn't know that you only worked at Lucas. I thought you like worked and then also worked there as like part-time, I guess. He needed a shower, so I had to turn the RO off. He doesn't shower with the RO system. All that 0 ppm. Maybe he needs to remineralize it for his hair. How much do you actually work there, Haley? Are you there like 5 days a week or every day? Like I don't, I know you're there a lot. I don't know. Full time for LRB. Yeah, he's got a lot of tanks. That's his fish room is on my bucket list of one day being able to. Hopefully, he wouldn't mind if I could check it out one day, because I know he's got a lot going on there. The RO kills the water pressure. I can see that. And luckily, I'm not. I'm on Columbus City tap water, and like knock on wood, it's actually really good tap water. Like I never have any issues with it. I do run a carbon block on my fish room, and now all my other tanks that are not in my fish room, the ones that are like in my living room, the 75-gallon, 30-gallon, the saltwater tank, and the brine shrimp tank, I now pull all the water from the fish room. I put a spigot on my water system so I can drain directly into a 5-gallon bucket. I still have to carry the buckets into the main part of the house, but I don't have to treat it with like tap water conditioner or anything like that. The bear has a job. I do think I remember you saying something about that. 8 to 10 hour days. Wow. I didn't realize there was like that much going on. I guess it's not just maintaining the fish room, it'd be also, shipping and all that stuff. But so now Haley, since you're in here, kind of a weird thing happened on my flow through system with your ram's horn snails. I ordered like 80 of them a few weeks ago, and so I have the 10-gallon tanks, then the 20s, and I split the 80 ram's horns between those 3 20s and then a couple other tanks. There's a couple in this tank here. I started getting some algae in it because I'm running that Fluval 3.0, and it's not a fully what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's planted, but it's not like fully cycled. So the algae kicked in pretty hard. So I put some ram's horns there. But anyways, so picture my flow through system. I got the 320s. It looked like almost, not all of them, but 80% of the ram's horns in one tank died. But all the other tanks are fine, and there's still some in there, and the shrimp in there are fine. So I thought it was really weird because it's a flow through. So like, if it was like something in the water, you'd think it would affect all the tanks. But it was really random that just like one tank. It was crazy, and I was like, because at first as soon as I saw those go down, I was like, oh no, there's something wrong. Like the water, because the snail's sensitive. And then, I've been keeping eyes on all the other tanks, and everybody's doing great. It was just really weird. It was only that one tank, and, they all share the same water, and they're all set up exactly the same, too, so it was really weird. But, they're populating out, so it's not a big deal at all. It was just really weird that one tank got affected like that. Because that's, like, the downside to flow through is with the flow through, if one tank gets a problem, they all get a problem. But I use it as a benefit as it's one big system, so I can put a ton of fry in those tanks and not have to worry about like nitrate spikes or anything like that, because the bottom row is all plants. There's nothing in the bottom. There's some amano shrimp to keep the plants clean, but the bottom tanks are like heavily planted, and then the middle row is planted as well. Error: YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh my gosh. I just cannot win with YouTube tonight. I can never win. It's super weird because those are all connected. Maybe because it's a flow through. Went down, got flowed. So it's a flow through tank by water, but they can't travel between tanks because I don't have any sitting here. We'll just take this mic buffer. I have intake sponge filters on all the overflows, so nothing can travel between tank to tank. But I did run into a problem. So my top 10 tanks are all grow out tanks. They're not planted, there's no substrates, they're just bare bottom, so that way I can vacuum out any like detritus out of the bottom of it. The first two tanks are all guppies, and there's a lot. I mean, there's probably 100 in each tank. They're 10 gallons, but since there's a flow through, it's no problem. The third tank is the blue-lipped buffalo head cichlid fry I got from the local club meeting. They did an auction on them, so I picked up, I think, 10. One died by the time I got home, so I had 9. But the problem I have is I noticed there's 2 tanks, the 220s below it, there's 1 cichlid in each tank now. So the problem is those are shrimp tanks, so they're not big enough to cause a problem, but I gotta get them out because cichlids will just eat all the shrimp that are in those tanks. And there's 1 in each tank, and they can't go through the overflow. And even if they went through the overflow, that overflow only goes to 120. And there's she wants some Fluval stratum, it looks like. What is she looking at? She eats rocks, by the way, so I'm not surprised that she's looking at the Fluval stratum. So they had to jump out of the tank, and one happened to jump out and land in the 20 below it, which is the Blue Dreams, the A team, so I gotta get that sucker out. And then one jumped and got into the tank next to it, which is the Golden Back Yellows. And these things, like, hide like crazy. They go into the lava rock, so I'm basically going to have to, like, tear down the scape in the back of those tanks to get to them. But it's one of those things I have to do it because I don't want them killing off, especially the Blue Dreams, because I bought the A team, so, it's not necessarily cheap. Especially if I had to replace them all, but I don't see any losses yet. They're still pretty small, but oh, she's laying down. I thought I heard water. I was like, she's peeing on the floor. Let me catch up on this chat. I was off and on, freezing, but good now. Yeah, so exactly. So since they're all connected, you would think if there was some sort of issue. I mean, I don't even know what the issue would be. They just, at first I was like, well, maybe the lights just kicked on. They were like sleeping, but typically the snails are just going 24/7. Yeah, she was really looking at that Fluval stratum. She's literally pooped out rocks before. She got into the decorative gravel out back, and ate the rocks. And I know that because she passed them in the house. Luckily, it was on tile, but like I was in here doing work, and I could hear like gravel hitting the floor. It was like odd because like you get so tuned into like noises around you, and then all of a sudden you hear that, and you're like, what was that? Like, it sounded like something hit the tile, and I was like, oh, she must have knocked something off the counter. And I go out there, and there's a poop pile full of rocks. So she eats rocks, which I don't know if like because her baby teeth, she hasn't lost her baby teeth yet, so she keeps going to the door. Yeah, she probably wants me out there. Both my dogs are super needy. Luckily, Havana, my pit bull, is on the couch watching Haley's channel right now, and they both watch TV. Charlotte is deaf, so she can't hear anything, but she'll watch. But Havana will sit there and actually watch TV. It's kind of cool. So YouTube's playing out there in the family room. So yeah. So yeah, back to the snails. I don't know what it was. It was just that one tank, and it's not the one with the cichlids. So I was like, maybe this, if it had the cichlid in it, maybe I could think like the cichlid was attacking them or something. But it's not. It's my red cherry shrimp tank. I see her. She's a busybody. Those black ears. She's probably upset because Havana's like sleeping on the couch and I'm in here. Yeah, she wants to go play or something. So yeah, but I gotta get those cichlids out of those shrimp tanks because they're not supposed to be in there. I make the homemade like double wall, what they call it, the greenhouse paneling tops on all my tanks. I have a big sheet of it still, so I just need to cut some lids and definitely get that cichlid tank covered because I cannot have those jumping out once they're bigger. That was kind of a random purchase. I didn't know that they had these cichlids. I went to the club meeting. They had Lawrence Kent from, I think he's from Washington, came in and did a talk, and it was all about these blue lip buffalo head cichlids from Africa, and it took him 2 years or 2 trips to actually get them, and like the whole thing was all about just these cichlids, and he had pictures and all the stuff of his travels, and when he basically ended the whole speech, like the presentation, he ended up catching some, brought them back to the States, and he was able to breed them. And then it turned out he actually brought some fry with him to the club meeting, which I didn't know. And so they auctioned them off, and I think I got 10 of them for maybe $20. And it was kind of one of those things like, oh, like, I've never seen these before. Like, maybe they're super rare. Like, I gotta get them. So I bought them. It turns out you can get them. Like, they're in the hobby. But I just thought it was really cool to get his, fry. So I don't plan on breeding them. I'm probably just going to raise them up and sell them off. Maybe if I can find a breeding pair out of the group I got 9. Maybe I'll keep a breeding pair, but I don't plan on doing like a whole tank or anything to them. They're pretty cool though, so I don't know. Right now they're just growing out, so they're not, anything super fun. Like I'm not super interested in them right now. I'm more interested in the shrimp and the guppy lines right now. But I tried to get a wholesale account with a fish supplier because they had some really cool fish that I wanted to get, so I can start trying to do some like line breeding or selective breeding with those. But they won't sell to me because I don't have a retail store, which I guess I get. They don't want to, I don't want to say attack local fish stores. They're trying to benefit local fish stores by only supplying to them. And I know that they supply to Pet Supplies Plus because I was in there when they were getting their fish out, and I saw the name on the box. So it kind of sucks, especially like me where I'm doing e-commerce. Like Lucas Brett's, like a lot of people do e-commerce and don't have an actual store because having an actual store is expensive as heck. So, I mean, maybe one day I can, I don't know, get like an office building or something. That way it'll be a commercial location. But right now, if I get wholesale fish, it's got to come from California, and this place is in Florida, so it's been way easier to get everything from Florida. She's getting into everything, I'm sure. So, I mean, I don't really have much else to talk about. It's Monday. I wish it was Friday. I need to go play with the dog. She's looking a little restless. So, yeah. I guess the end of the live stream plug. Use. I'm getting a lot of orders on the website, but people aren't using the discount. It's saving you guys money. Like, hey, if you don't use it, I guess it's extra 10% to me, but I would like to have you guys use the discount because then I can see who's buying through, like, what source of marketing. Like, if it's eBay, if it's Facebook, or if it's YouTube. The YouTube discount is just YouTube. The website is 614fish.com, and definitely use it. Valley Fish, hey Valley Fish, how's it going, bud? Dang late. Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock. Haley hit the like. Yeah, I was going to do a live stream on my lunch break because I like to do them while I'm on lunch break because that way I have to keep them short and to the point. But we're just with the orders today. I don't know what happened. It must have been payday because there was a ton of orders. Some orders Saturday, a ton Sunday last night, and then there was some orders that came in this morning. So my lunch break was packaging and going to the post office to ship everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually go hook these up before I forget. Are they individually numbered? Yeah, they're individually numbered. They keep track of every single one. That's kind of surprising. Yeah, every single one's got a different number on it. That's weird. I'm surprised they do that from China. So yeah, I mean, if you guys... It is late. So, appreciate you guys checking in. Lucas says hi. Tell Lucas I say hello. Or, hello, Lucas. Still working on that rack system. And I do have the steel. My uncle owns a steel company, so I'm doing a steel rack for those... for these guys. So I figured... doing like 1-inch square tube, so these will sit on square tube because I want to do steel because it's going to take up the least amount of space, and I think I might put casters on it so I can move it around. I don't know, I got so many ideas going on. I draw up different plans and then I change it, but so that's going to be rack system probably 3. Rack system 4 is going to be ponds. And by ponds, I mean it's going to be plywood aquariums. I'm doing 4 foot long by 1 foot by I think 2 feet. So it's going to be 4, 2, 1, all plywood, and then stacked up as many as I can fit to. I don't really want to be on like a ladder or a chair to see the top, so a few tall, and then the top will probably be in an actual glass aquarium, so that way I don't have to be up on top looking in. So that will be rack system 4. How many of those tanks do you have? Lucas actually gave these to me while he was here when he filmed my fish room. These were just some he had in his car, so thank you again, Lucas, for giving these to me. I think I forget how many there were, 11? I think there was 11. So these are going to be for fry. We're going to use these on fry, and this will be this will be a central system, I think is my idea. Not a flow through, but central. So rack system 2 is a flow through where each tank goes to the next tank. This will be a central where all these tanks drain to like basically one sump, and then that gets filtered, and then each tank gets filtered water. Where the flow through, you basically the quote unquote dirty water from the top tank goes to the middle tank. The middle tanks are planted. That helps remove nitrates. That flows through into the bottom tanks, which are all planted. And it runs zero nitrates. I meant to do a video of that. I tested, and I am at zero nitrates. I had to dose nitrates. I use I have the Nilo CG liquid, but with my tanks, I use the Nilo CG the powder because I had to dose a lot of tanks, so I use the powder, and it's cheap. He does not wholesale the dry ferts. He only wholesales his liquid. So I could sell his liquid, but the powder, if you want powder, you have to get through him. It'd be cool, but I think it's because he prices them so cheap, there's no margin for him to make money on wholesale, so he doesn't wholesale these. I wish he did because these are awesome. So I've also thought about, because I like playing with stuff. I like tinkering. So I'm thinking about doing a dosing system using his liquid fertilizer. They have like high-end dosing systems, like super. I don't want to say super nice, but like decent quality ones. I think Milwaukee's one. My buddy's a programmer, and I thought about trying to do like a homemade system. Have him program a timer to drip a certain amount however many times a day I want, and it'll work perfect on the flow through system because it can drip directly into the intake pump of the filter, and then it will filter it through the whole system. Breaks over. Good stream to you. See you, Haley. Have fun working. Make sure all those tanks are clean. And don't trip onto any of his weights. Alright, so yeah, so I'm thinking about doing a liquid dosing system. I thought it'd be kind of cool to tinker with. So yeah, but the fry tank will be a central system, so each tank gets fresh, clean water versus flowing through. And then I'll probably just do a sump, and I think I want to do a tote sump. I could do like a 40-gallon breeder, like a homemade. What I want to do is, I don't know, it might be easier because then it'll be nice and solid. What I want to do is do partitions and then use these filter media pads. So basically silicone glue in just little tabs so that these can slide in, and I can have a bunch of different media filters. Obviously start off with a poly pad, and then at the end have the carbon ones, because these are, since they're already square cut, I can just pull them in and out of the slots. And so I think that's what I want to do, is a sump system on that. What kind of fry? So right now I have gubby fry. I don't need that system for the guppy fry, because that's what my flow through system is for, because the guppies are so prolific that I can put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fry into that flow through system, and it can handle it. It can handle the load. This will be more selective. Where's my camera system? More selective. I did pick up some killifish 1 or 2 weeks ago. I got some. Oh, what were they? Blue gardeners, I believe. I have 3 females and a male. It was supposed to be 2 males and 2 females. I got 1 male and 3 females. So if those breed, that's what those will be for. And then I'm trying to get some different lines of guppies. My pond is my cull tank. I don't like get rid of my culls. They go to the outdoor pond, and I'm just letting them do their thing and see what they throw out. My Tequila Sunrise guppy line, the first batch of fry that they put out were like mutts. They were like yellow bodies like the tequilas, and then instead of being just the red tail for the sunrise, they had some black in them. So the first group, I'm assuming that female picked up genes from a different male at the farm that they came from. The every fry batch after that have been all tequila sunrise. There hasn't been any black in it. But they did throw some cool ones that first fry batch. There was some like tequila sunrise with black, but then there was these ones that were super like iridescent pink and looked really cool. So I put them out in the pond. I put some regular tequila sunrise out in the pond too, and I'm just letting them do their thing, and we'll see what they throw out here in a few months. But if they throw out some cool like patterns or colors, I'm gonna pull those out, and then I might. These are pretty small, so I don't know if I'll be able to put them in here to breed them, but I'm gonna try. They might be a little too small, like space wise, to have a male and female in here, but I'll try it and see what happens. Obviously, water quality won't be an issue. It's never been an issue with my tanks, but physical, size in there, I don't know how much Mama Guppy would like that male in there. But yeah, so I'm planning on using it for killies. And then whatever else I get into, I always need more tanks. So I do have more tanks. I was supposed to get them drilled and set up. I got my 10-gallon tanks. They're all drilled. And they are set up, but I need to drill my 20s and get those set up on the rack system too. So that way I can finally finish out that system and have an extra... gives me an extra 5 tanks. It'll give me 2 more 20 longs and 3 more 10 gallons. So that will allow me to get different kinds of fish, because I do want to get different stuff. Right now, the black Moscow guppies locally are selling pretty strong. Some of the red ones are selling strong, so I might try to jump in on that. Just breeding for a profit on those. And once that craze kind of dies off, I'll cut back. I'll keep some, cut back for a while, and then when people start getting back into them, then I'll be able to ramp it back up. Any other guppy lines? That's the only guppy line I have right now is that Tequila Sunrise I've been working with. I've got some stunning males out of that line, and I need those other 10s so I can selective breed those even further. Because, I say 2 out of 10 are, stunning, awesome, awesome, awesome. And the other ones are just, regular Tequila Sunrise. So I like to have, the regular Tequila Sunrise that you just sell for, $2 a piece or whatever. But I like to get the high quality ones that, might fetch $5 a piece or, even more, depending on, I guess what somebody will want to pay for them. Because they're not, super fancy, they're not, Dumbo-deered, they don't have, crazy tails. I got that line because I really enjoyed them. It was something that I don't want to say, a lot of people don't have, because people have them. It's just that, right now it's, the craze is, the black Moscow guppies or the Dumbo-eared versions, Cobras, or Mosaic ones. It's just something I like, so that's why I did that line. And once I get the length set to where the males are popping out, it'd be sweet if 100% were all super top quality. And once that's set, then I can thin back what I got and then start a new line. And then I always thought it'd be cool to start a new line. Let's say I don't want to say black Moscows, but say 24 carats. Or some Cobras, and then, as a side project, what happens if you take a Cobra and then mix in the Tequila Sunrise into them? What can you get from there? But honestly, my next purchase, Lucas Bretz has those think it's the lime green Endlers. I'm in love with those right now. So I've been like looking at those online. Like that's my next go-to is those Endlers. So that's why I want to get these 20 longs up and running, because one of those 20 longs is going to be a lime green Endler tank. Because after seeing his video on that, when he did the video the other week showing like specific fish that he was selling, so that way you could see what he was selling versus like looking at a picture on his website, or if he didn't have a picture. I saw those lime greens. I don't know what it is about those, but I want those. So I'll probably be doing a purchase with him. Well, I gotta wait till these 20s are set up. The nice thing about the flow through system is that the tanks are cycled instantly. So as soon as I put up 3 more 10s and the 2 more 20s, they're instantly cycled because it's running through all the other tanks. So I can throw those tanks into the system and then immediately add fish to them, so I don't have to wait for anything to happen on those. Valley Fish says, females are hard to find of your line around me, just the males for sale. So, like, the males are, like, the stunning ones, like, typically are more stunning. But what really attracted me to this pair is, like, I noticed with guppies, usually, like, your male is, like, super awesome, and then your female is, like, sometimes, like, completely, like, plain. Like, you wouldn't know that she's going to throw out something crazy. The breeding pair I got, they're both, like, if you didn't know what a male and female was, like, they both could have been males. Like, they both were perfect as far as the yellow and the red. And the problem was I have now lost my breeding pair. I lost the male like a month ago, and I just lost the female a few days ago. My female was pretty big. I'm assuming, if I had to guess, I got it through a wholesaler. Like, kind of like, I don't want to say a wholesaler, like a fish, kind of like a fish farm. Think of like Lucas Barrett's, but more specific to just like 6 different lines and like huge like ponds and ponds and ponds, like commercial version of Lucas. I'm betting these are like retired breeders. Like once they get so big, they know probably like, hey, like they only have a year left or whatever. So then they sell those off. So when I got them, I'm like, man, these things are huge. Like they're awesome looking. The male died. He didn't show any signs of being sick or anything. He just kind of died. The female actually got internal parasite, I believe, because she started getting the stringy poop. So I hit her with General Cure and then erythromycin, and I didn't do ick because she didn't show any signs of ick. But it didn't help her. So I quarantined her, and I actually did a video, pulling her out, putting her in the quarantine tank. I could have treated the whole tank. I did treat the whole tank with General Cure, but when I hit her with the erythromycin, I did that separate in the quarantine tank. But she just never recovered from it. So I lost the female, but I have hundreds and hundreds of fry, so the line will continue. But I think it's just that they're old. I've had them for months and months and months now, and I feel like that farm just sells off their older breeders because it makes the consumer, like myself, think like, wow, like this thing's huge, like that's awesome. But it's kind of like shrimp. When you buy shrimp and they're like full-grown adults, if shrimp only lasts 2 years and it takes a year to get to like massive size, then you only got a year with them. So if you get shrimp that are like 3/4 inch long or even 1/2 inch, like, not tiny but smaller, you have longer time with them. See, I almost wonder if like females being harder to find are people, because like part of me, like business side, was like, I don't want to sell females because then it gives somebody else the opportunity to breed them. But that's not the point of the hobby. Like, you want to get the fish out there and get them so like people have them, and it helps keep costs low too. Like, some guppies are like $80 a pair. Well, once those pairs get out there and people start breeding them, then brings the price down. So, if somebody can't afford $80 for a pair of guppies, but a year later everybody's breeding them and they're like you can get them for $10 a pair, that's a lot different. So, I don't have the guppies on the website right now because they're not big enough. I kind of want them bigger. I could sell them. They're at a sellable size, but they're not like the males are coloring up really well. The females aren't super colorful yet. So I really want to wait until they're a little bit bigger and more colorful because I don't want to like sell based off the pictures of the parents or the bigger fry because when you get them in the mail, you're gonna be like these don't look like them or they're not colorful. And people have to realize that once they grow up, they will color up. But yeah, I don't have them on the website, but when I do, I'll have them as you can either buy males or females or a pair or a trio. You'll have the option to buy basically whatever you want. If you just want females and you already got some cool males, you want to like crossbreed those lines, hey, it's whatever. Because I'm not gonna hog the females. Like, they should be in the hobby. Dealers are out to make money. They don't care about the hobbyists. Yeah, so like that's why like I'm trying to I really want this business to succeed because I would love to not have to work on cars the rest of my life. I've been doing it professionally for 13 years now, not professionally since I worked on cars growing up with my dad, always in the driveway with him working on the family cars. And once I turned 16, I was tinkering with my cars and buddies' cars. But it takes a toll on your wrists, your back. Like I remember all the old timers when I first started, right out of high school. They said don't do it because it'll destroy you. And I'm 33 and it is taking a toll. So I really want this business to succeed, and I'm trying to not like price gouge, and I'm trying to be transparent on everything. That's why I could just throw these on the website and be like these are freaking awesome, but the fact is I don't know they're awesome yet. I want them to be awesome because I really like how these look. I really think they're elegant is the word I would put them to. But that one fell off the tank, and I don't want to sell them and then have them fall off everybody else's tank 2 weeks later because then they're gonna be like it's a piece of crap. So I don't know if it was just that random one piece, because if it's like, hey, 1 out of 100 will have an issue, then I don't have like a problem with that. 1%, okay. I prefer not to have any of them have an issue, but if somebody email me like, hey, this is falling off, I can't get it to stick, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to send you a new one. I'm not charging you for shipping or anything, I'm going to get you a new one. But I don't want to do that if it's like 80% failure, because then I'm just losing money left and right. So I don't want to sell a bad product, but I also know that people, and I work on cars, so I know people, and I work in high-line cars. So I worked for BMW, and I currently work for Audi. And I've seen the rich people, and I've seen the people that own BMWs that can't afford BMWs, meaning they bought the car at the auction, but they can't afford the car. So I know people that can afford stuff and can't afford stuff, and most people want to save $1. So a lot of this stuff comes from China, but that's how you get stuff cheap. So I'm not going like, oh, these are awesome, these are going to be like $30. No, like if these things cost me $5, and then like shipping, and then obviously like, if I have to pay shipping or whatever, if I make $1, I'm happy. Like, I don't need to be rich off of it. I need to be able to pay my bills, but I don't need to. Oh, there's the dog. I don't need, make a killing off of it. Chewy's in the house. If you're doing the work on quality, there will always be a demand for good fish, is my thought. There's people that will pay for good fish, and then there's people that don't. So what I like about YouTube is that everybody, especially everybody that's watching this video right now, you guys know, everybody knows about quality. Like, you know what goes into line breeding fish. So, like, you know that if I sold my Tequila Sunrise for, let's say, $6 a piece, but you went to Petco or some name brand store and you saw them for $5, let's just say, I'm just throwing out numbers. I mean, you're going to know that the line bred, hobbyist ones are going to be way healthier and stronger than the Petco ones because they are buying straight from the farms. They're plopped and dropped. And when I was at Pet Supplies Plus, they were getting an order of fish in, and I was talking to the guy that was putting the fish in the tanks, and I asked him, I was like, hey, like, what kind of system do you guys run? Like, are they individual tanks? Are they flow-throughs? Are they central? And each kind of rack system is basically a flow-through central, so they don't quarantine. Like, they were literally pulling the fish out of the boxes from the farm, plopping them into the tanks. Like, I watched it, and that's how fish stores run. They don't have quarantine rooms or stuff like that. It's not until you get into like the local, like, mom and pop, aquarium co-op, they quarantine all their fish. I'm sure all the smaller places like that do that, but they plopped and dropped. And he said, and the guy was like, yeah, like, if one tank goes bad, he's like, this tank, this tank, this tank, and this tank, they all get it. They all have the outbreak. I think the main one he said they get is ick. But he's like, yeah, we have to take all these tanks down. They just basically turn off the lights in those tanks, saying like, hey, like, these aren't for sale because we're treating them. But they have to treat all those tanks because they're all in the same system. And with my central system, not my central, but my flow through, those are all fish that are like my own. It's my grow out, so I don't have to worry about bringing anything in. But anything I buy, so like the Killies I just bought, they're on rack system 1, which is individual tanks. So they'll stay on that rack, and like everybody says, like 30 days, 45 days. Honestly, like, it's a few weeks for me, but it turns into a few months until I get like stuff moved around. But they sit in there, and I hit them with the Med Trio because I sell all of that. General Cure, the erythromycin, and I'll do the Ick X only if I see ick. And the only reason I don't do that every single time is it does stain everything blue, like your silicone, which is not a problem on my quarantine tank. But I don't do it like every single time. Like, if you run, Med 1, 2, and 3, and then, that's it for the ick. 1, 2, and 3 on day 1, and then when I redo, like, General Cure, I think is every second day. I don't add Ick X again. Twisty Ride says, better safe than sorry, good products mean repeat customers. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of side work for BMWs, and all my customers are repeat because I try to do good work for them and give them a good price. They obviously save a ton of money versus going to a BMW dealer, but it's with I just lost my train of thought because it's getting late. It's about service. It's how do I want to be treated. So anytime somebody places an order, if they place it by Saturday at noon, I ship it out that day. My local post office, I believe, closes at 2. So as long as I get the order by noon, it goes out that day. And then anything placed on Sunday, no matter what time, ships out Monday morning. So every order that came in yesterday, I shipped out. So I go to the post office at 7:30 in the morning before I go to work and ship everything out. And then any order that's placed before 11 ships out that day because I go home at 11 for my lunch break, and I do orders on my lunch break. So I do orders. I usually eat when I'm like printing orders off and doing all that. Package it up, drop it at the post office, and then go back to work. Any orders that come between, let's say, noon and that night, I package up and will be in the mailbox, or not mailbox, but at the post office first thing in the next morning. So I try to keep everything one business day. So it either ships that day or the very next morning, depending on how late. It usually ships that day as long as the post office is open. Cody-san is here. How's it going, bud? Central systems only work unless you know the fish have been quarantined. It is the most stupid system for pet shops to use. That is correct, Chewy. So for the home hobbyists, central systems are awesome because it's super easy maintenance. So on my flow through, I have one filter that I have to maintain for what will be 5, 10, 16 tanks. It'll be a few hundred gallons. One filter is all I have to do. It's basically like having a canister filter that runs all the tanks. That's the benefit for me. But if I brought those killifish in, if I brought those in and put them in my flow through system and they had a disease, the whole system gets it. And that's the problem with the major pet stores, is that they're either on a flow through or a central, and they're usually, I think, central. Most of them have the sumps at the bottom. So if anybody's worked in this store, you have input on what they use, let me know, because I think it'd be nice. Valley Fish is off to bed. Catch you next time. See ya, bud. Have a good night. So yeah, I mean, every system has its purpose. You know, my first system, my rack 1, is individual tanks on air using Matten filters, because at the time that's what I knew I wanted, because it was super easy. You just have to run air. You know, it's the easiest one to maintain. Well, the flow through is pretty easy to maintain. The individual tanks are the least stressful, because if I have an issue, it's only one tank. If one tank goes down, like if it busts a panel, it's only that tank that's affected. If I blow out a tank on my flow through system, obviously that tank is a loss. Every other tank is fine, except for the bottom rack, which is just plants. There's no fish. Those would drain all the way down to pump level. So there would be about this much water in the bottom tanks. Because I thought about that, like if I blow out a tank, running water constantly to every single tank, like, would it drain out all 300 gallons? It doesn't, because every tank's overflowed. So the water can't go below the overflow. So if one tank's busted, it's still going to get fed water until the bottom tanks run out. So if a top 10 gallon tank, if I lost a 10 gallon tank, I'd probably lose right now about 60 gallons. No, not 60. Probably the 20s. Probably not even 20 gallons of water would hit the floor. You know, that's an external leak at that tank. 20 gallons would hit the floor. If I lost a 20 gallon tank, it'd be the 20 gallons plus another 20, so it'd be 40 to 50 gallons would hit the floor. So it'd be a mess, but it's not like I'd lose the whole system. The central system would be basically the same thing. Actually, no, it'd be less. It'd be less. And the individual tanks rack system 1, just that one tank. But alright, guys, it's late. I need to go get this one tired for bed. So thank you all for hanging out with me on this crappy Monday with YouTube doing whatever it wants to do. Appreciate you guys as always. Check out the website, 614fish.com. And if you do order something, don't forget to use the discount code to save the 10%. The code is YouTube. So that's all for this live stream. Thank you guys so much. Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll catch